Baruch here at genConnect.com, and I'm joined today by serial entrepreneur, most well known for co-founding Reddit, Alexis Ohanian. How are you, Alexis?
Thanks. Doing very well. Glad to be here.
Let's get started by talking about your new book.
All right. I'd love to. So it's coming out October 1st. I don't know at what point your viewers will be watching this, but it comes out October
Before
1st,
October
2013.
1st.
Okay, good. And I hope they all pre-order it. It's called Without Their Permission. And it is basically a manifesto that I've written for entrepreneurship in the internet age. So it's lessons from my own startups like Reddit and Hipmunk, but I think more interestingly, lessons from friends of mine and people I've worked with who are in music, who are in film, who are in activism, who are in philanthropy, who are using the internet to just not wait for permission and just bring their ideas to the world and are just doing amazing things.
And that really is the approach and the ethos that you've embodied since day one.
Yeah, you know, Steve Huffman is my Reddit co-founder, also founded Hipmunk. We met for first day, like move-in day at college, and I was really excited when I met him because he was playing video games, and I didn't think I was going to meet any other nerds at college. My first mistake. And Steve was actually disappointed when he met me because he had seen my name on the door, Alexis, and he thought he was living on a co-ed hall.
And he was very disappointed.
When I showed up and I was a guy, he was a little disappointed. But we still became very good friends, and we graduated from UVA in 2005. We had started on this path maybe a year before graduation, a sort of path of entrepreneurship, and through some very fortunate circumstances found ourselves starting Reddit right after we graduated with some help from Y Combinator. And literally every day since then, and I know how fortunate I am for this, literally every day since, I have been able to wake up in the morning and really look forward to the work I do, and it's a gift. And I want to espouse this because I want as many people as possible to feel that way too. And we have a generation of kids who have been, frankly, they've been promised, go to college, there'll be a job waiting for you, and they've got a lot of student loan debt, and those jobs aren't there, and yet I still see so much opportunity because this is a generation that's digitally native. It's a generation that is very fluent with the internet, and whether that's using it to find information or whether it's using it to share information, they can do amazing things. And I hope that this book can help motivate the generation to just keep being awesome. So
don't get discouraged when you can't get that job after that amazing education. Just create that job.
Yeah, basically.
Is it that simple though?
Well, it's never simple. It's never. I don't want to trivialize it, but I see so many examples in all of my travels of people who simply by just by sheer willingness of like, yeah, I'm going to start that blog, or yeah, I'm going to start that Etsy store, or yeah, I'm going to try that Kickstarter campaign, have been able to help themselves sort of be awesome at scale. And one of the interesting quirks, I'm doing something probably very stupid. I'm trying a 100-stop book tour.
Oh my God!
And
Good
about
luck.
60 of those are going to be universities. We're going to be driving around, and I want this to be the kind of the curriculum that I wish were at universities right now, in terms of, if I can get a room full of a few hundred college students and give them very clear guidelines for like what they can do to get started, especially at a time when they are still at school, right? When they still have their room covered, their board covered, like a lot of those necessities of life are pretty much taken care of. So, have fun, go party, but also make stuff, learn stuff, start launching things. And my favorite little twist on this is I want to, at every one of these stops, find an alum who has also found success online. And I want to interview her on stage, like Fireside, just like this, in front of this class of students, because normally book tours are all about, let's talk about the author, and I'll gladly talk to people, and I'll gladly sign and do all the great stuff. But what's more interesting to me is showing them someone who is literally in the exact same position they were 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but who's done something amazing, whether they've launched a successful Kickstarter campaign, or they've started a food truck business that's powered by social media. Like, these aren't hypotheticals, these are real people. Right. And when you see them in front of you and you're like, if I can't inspire you, hopefully they can.
What did it feel like when you became acquired?
Man, Steve and I, we were working on Reddit for 16 months when we got acquired. An incredibly short period of time in the scheme of things. It was mostly relief. Frankly, because every day as an entrepreneur, you worry that it's going to be your last. You worry about the company in the future. I mean, it's bipolar. It's very bipolar. Some days you're going to take over the world. Others, you're just not sure what's going to happen. And it was relief more than anything else. And the first thing I did, literally the first thing I did, was I called up the Redskins ticket office. My dad been a season ticket holder and a fan for quite some time. And he indoctrinated me too.
Yeah.
And we used to have a couple nosebleeds for a number of years. And literally the first thing I did was I called and upgraded his tickets. And to this day, we still go every home game. And now it's a little bit closer, which is nice. And a couple of my good childhood friends come too. So, you know, it's...
What's money if not for that, right?
It is. And I'll tell you, dude, I mean, Steve and I had our lives changed at 23. I guess Steve was 22. And I am aware of how ridiculously fortunate that is, and I'm also aware, though, of that the value of the things that can't really be bought. You know, the value of the experiences that we have in life. I am very certain that whenever I do check out, or whenever I'm, you know, deathbed, not to get too morbid, sorry, the things that will matter to me are not going to be things that I bought. They're things that I've done and people I've done them with. So I'm trying to keep that attitude top of mind. I'm already 30, so I'm trying.
You say already.
I know.
You just said already 30. I don't know if you could do that.
Well, it's you know, I feel hungrier at 30 than I did at 20. So I hope that never goes away. I don't want to ever be complacent because like I said, I realize the opportunities that I've had, and I don't want to squander them.
Look, you're giving advice to so many other aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
What has been the most impactful piece of advice that you've received?
Wow. You know, Paul Graham was the founder of Y Combinator, which was the seed stage accelerator, whatever you want to call it, for Reddit, for Hipmunk. They invest in early stage tech startups. You know, they invested in Airbnb and Dropbox, companies that are now worth billions of dollars. And the best advice he had ever given me or any of us, it seems so obvious, but it was make something people want. On the internet, all links are created equal, and the enemy is the back button, right? If you don't have something interesting, no matter what it is, it could be a little video, it could be a cat photo, it could be a website, it could be a business. If it's not interesting enough to capture a user's attention, they're going to hit back. If it's not good enough, it's not something they actually want. I don't care how many advertisements you run. You could run an ad in every newspaper, on every television show. It still wouldn't matter, right? People don't use Facebook. People don't use Twitter because they saw a compelling billboard.
Right.
They're using it because it's a product that's inherently useful. And so many other industries are driven by sort of manufactured demand. I mean, walk down a toothpaste aisle, sorry, toothpaste manufacturers, and you'll see, what, like 50 brands, 50 variations of toothpaste when they all do the same damn thing as clean your teeth. But yet, you've got to manufacture them, and you've got to create these different verticals and these needs. On the internet, there's no room for that nonsense. You really have to build something people want. If you haven't built that, like, get back to it. And so be willing to fail and fail often. Be willing to put something out there that is imperfect. We talk about minimum viable product. You know, create something that's good enough to solve a real problem.
Like MVP.
Exactly.
Like
create that basic thing, and if it solves a problem, if you see users who are coming back, good, you're onto something. If you see, you know, you've tweeted out, you've begged all your friends, no one's coming back, that's okay. That's a lesson you have learned. All you've done is learn something, right? It didn't cost any money. You were just writing code.
Right.
That's another privilege of being in this industry. And like I said, there are not enough folks really taking those chances because basically I just want to see more awesome stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I get to meet people. There were two women in St. Louis who I met on this bus tour that I did last year. Don't ask. It was for Internet Freedom. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
These two women in St. Louis had independently started Etsy stores because they were both just talented jewelers. They were making jewelry in their spare time from their home. You know, an Etsy store doesn't require any money to start. You just turn on an account, you take some photos, you have a storefront. And they were able to get enough traction. They were able to get enough customers and enough money to start having this be their full-time gig. They actually left their full-time jobs to run their Etsy stores. Then they noticed each other's work and noticed each other online and met up. And within another year, they had opened a storefront, literally a brick and mortar storefront in downtown St. Louis. That is now the home of Scarlett Garnet, which is their joint business.
Wow.
So they took a chance by starting an Etsy store. Again, it cost nothing. They had skills. They probably had people all their lives saying, your jewelry is so awesome, you should sell it. And they were like, yeah, okay, maybe one day. They finally did it. They started an Etsy store. And years later, there's now a storefront in downtown St. Louis. It's part of a major urban renewal in downtown St. Louis, a neighborhood that was pretty derelict maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is now full of hipsters and cool bars and places to be. And they're a part of that renewal. And it started online with a couple of women independently just taking a chance and starting an Etsy store. And that's so, so great because those two women would have been just as awesome. They would have been just as great a jeweler, but we never would have experienced it at scale if they hadn't taken that chance and started that Etsy store, right? They would have always been, they would have been the best friends around Christmas because they would have given you the greatest jewelry ever, right? Except no one else would have gotten to enjoy that. And now, thanks to the internet, their awesomeness has scaled, and they now have businesses they wouldn't have had before. And it's cool because for all of history, and this gets heavy, right? You consider for all of history, all of the awesome people that never had the opportunity, for whatever bullshit reasons, to bring their awesomeness to the world. Like, that's a lot of missed out awesome. And I'm talking a lot about awesome, but that's a lot of missed out greatness. And so the thing that excites me the most about the internet, the reason I fight so hard for the open internet, is because I want to make sure we capitalize on all of this genius, on all of this talent, all this awesome. Because it's not just going to mean better jewelry. It's going to mean better businesses. It's going to mean better art. It's going to probably mean better politicians, which I know is really hard to believe, but I really do think so. And you know, get out of their way, because you know those two women didn't ask. They didn't ask for any permission to do this. They just started it. And if that doesn't motivate people, I don't know what does.
Well, here's to getting some more awesome in your life.
Get some shit done. And seriously, I hope I'm allowed to curse.
Oh, we're on.
Well, that's good. No FCC here. That's the thing. And I hope when people get inspired by this stuff on genConnect, they don't just close out the window and go back to cat videos. I mean, they can. I love cats. In case you couldn't tell. But they actually start doing something. Right. Because I can talk about this. You could have 1,000 people talking about this stuff. But until you actually just say, forget it, I'm fine. I'm finally going to try this. I'm going to take that first step. Nothing's going to happen. And again, the barrier's lower every day. But until you actually are willing to take that first leap over it, ain't going to happen. I just want better stuff, man. I think you do too.
Alexis Ohanian.
Dude, Baruch.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me, man.
And to learn more about Alexis Ohanian and about bringing some more awesome into your life, be sure to check out genConnect.com.